The people falling behind fastest right now aren't the lazy ones. They're not the ones who stopped learning or stopped showing up. They're the ones who worked the hardest, earned the most, and did everything exactly right, and that's what makes this so disorienting. Something structurally changed. Income from labor is losing value. Income from AI-leveraged assets is compounding. And the gap between those two groups isn't narrowing, it's widening every quarter. Morgan Stanley projects $3 trillion in AI-related infrastructure investment flowing through the global economy by 2028. More than 80% of that capital hasn't moved yet. What that means for you specifically is what this video is about. We're going to cover 3 things. What the shift actually is and why most people are naming it wrong, what the people already on the right side of it are actually doing, and why the entry window is compressing faster than almost anyone is saying out loud. Part 1. The shift nobody is naming correctly. Most of the conversation about AI and your career is focused on job replacement. Which roles get automated, which skills survive, whether your industry is next. That frame isn't wrong, it's just incomplete, and focusing on it will cost you. The deeper threat isn't that AI replaces your job. It's that AI replaces the economic logic that made your job valuable in the first place. Labor-based income has one structural flaw that nobody talks about. It resets to 0 every month. You stop working, it stops coming. You can get better at your craft, earn more per hour, climb the title ladder, but the underlying equation doesn't change. Time in, money out. The ceiling moves slowly, and it's always tied to you showing up. AI-leveraged assets don't work that way. A business you've automated keeps generating cash flow while you sleep. Software you built from your expertise keeps earning per-seat licenses whether you're at your desk or not. Equity you acquired appreciates on its own compounding curve. The income isn't attached to your hours, it's attached to the asset. That's the real shift. And it's why the high-performer class is shrinking in a way that has nothing to do with effort or skill. Think about when electricity arrived. The workers who learned to use electrical tools were more productive than the ones who didn't. That part is true. But the people who actually got rich weren't the best electricians. They were the ones who owned the power companies, the distribution networks, and the businesses that ran entirely on the new infrastructure. Using the tool well gave you job security. Owning what the tool ran on gave you generational wealth. AI is running the same playbook right now. Here's the part that makes this especially dangerous for high achievers specifically. Research on how high performers respond to stagnation narratives shows a consistent pattern. Because your identity is built on effort and expertise, you tend to interpret a structural shift as a temporary plateau. You tell yourself you just need to work harder, learn more, optimize better. That reframe feels responsible. It feels like discipline. And it costs you years, because you're applying more effort to a system whose rules just changed underneath you. The freeze isn't laziness. It's a mismatch between your mental model of how performance gets rewarded and what the market is actually rewarding right now. The market stopped paying a premium for knowing things. It started paying a premium for owning things that know things and scale without you. So what does it look like when someone actually makes the switch? Not in theory, in practice, with specific numbers and a starting point most people already have access to. There are 3 patterns that showed up repeatedly between 2023 and 2026, and they don't all require capital or a technical background. They require a different question. Not what can I do, but what can I own? Part 2. The 3 asset plays that are actually working. What follows isn't a theoretical framework. These are composite patterns drawn from real operator data and institutional research between 2023 and 2026. 3 distinct plays, 3 different starting points, one underlying logic running through all of them. Play 1 is the one that surprises people most, because it sounds boring on purpose. A former marketing manager, 35 years old, gets laid off in 2023 with $40,000 in savings and a 680 credit score. Not a founder. Not a tech person. He finds a local marketing agency doing $1 million a year in revenue with $200,000 in owner earnings, negotiates a purchase price of $600,000, and puts 5% down, $30,000 of his own money. The SBA 7(a) loan covers the rest, with the seller carrying back the remaining 5% as a note. He's in a real business for $30,000 cash out of pocket. Then he bolts AI on top of it. Ad reporting gets automated. Copy variants run through AI pipelines. Client qualification moves to an AI chatbot so his team stops wasting time on leads that don't convert. Headcount stays exactly flat while the client load grows by 50%. Owner earnings climb from $200,000 to somewhere between $350,000 and $400,000. After 3 years, the business is worth $1.50 to $2 million. The asset here is not the AI tool. The asset is the equity, and AI is what made that equity more valuable. SBA financing now accepts digital and virtual businesses. The minimum credit threshold sits around 630, and debt coverage requirements have loosened. The entry bar on this play is lower than it's been in a decade, and most people walking past it don't recognize it as a wealth-building move because the business itself is unglamorous. That's exactly why the opportunity exists. Play 2 starts smaller and builds differently. A 29-year-old software freelancer starts offering AI audits to small businesses in late 2023, a paid diagnostic of where AI can cut costs or increase revenue for a specific company. Within 12 months, he's at $40,000 to $60,000 per month in agency revenue from a handful of clients. Then something more important happens. He notices 5 clients in the same vertical, logistics, in this case, all need the exact same thing: document ingestion, summarization, decision support. The same problem, showing up in 5 different companies, all paying him to solve it one at a time. So he stops solving it one at a time. He builds a vertical SaaS product, domain-specific workflows, LLM prompts tuned for that industry, a proper per-seat licensing structure. Future clients don't hire him for custom work. They subscribe. By 2026, the SaaS side alone is generating $30,000 to $50,000 in monthly recurring revenue at margins that service work can't touch. The move that made this possible was treating every client engagement as research, not revenue. The service was a discovery engine. The IP it produced was the actual asset. Most freelancers and consultants never make this transition because they optimize for billable hours instead of repeatable patterns. The ones who do stop selling time almost entirely. Play 3 requires the least technical background and gets the least attention. A 45-year-old supply chain consultant has spent 2 decades building methods that work. She knows how to optimize a logistics network in ways that take most analysts years to learn. But that knowledge lives entirely in her head, which means it can only be in one place at a time, and it stops earning the moment she stops working. She uses low-code tools and LLM APIs to codify those methods, decision trees, scenario simulators, structured prompt sequences, into a co-pilot that supply chain analysts can actually use. No engineering degree required to build it. Then she layers a training program on top, teaching enterprise teams how to run the tool. Former day rate clients migrate from per-hour consulting to recurring annual licenses. In 2 to 3 years, she's generating several $100,000 in annual recurring IP income with a fraction of the time dependency she had before. I didn't replace her expertise. It turned that expertise into something that scales without her being in the room. 3 different starting points. Different skill sets, different capital requirements, different timelines. But the same underlying move in every single case. Stop selling time, start owning something that compounds on its own. Part 3. Why the window is closing and what to do before it does. Here's why the timing actually matters, and it's not a sales pitch. By late 2025, 54% of global fund managers had already called AI stocks bubble territory. Enterprise AI spending went from $11.5 billion to $37 billion in a single year. AI startups pulled in 61% of all global venture capital in 2025. That's not gradual adoption. That's capital concentration at a speed that compresses every advantage available to early movers. The people who built AI agencies in 2023 entered a market with almost no competition. Clients had never seen the product, pricing hadn't been established, and the knowledge gap between operator and buyer was enormous. That gap is gone. The market has caught up. Starting the same play today means competing with people who have 2 years of client relationships, proprietary data, and systems already built. Not impossible, just harder, and getting harder every quarter. The same compression applies to business acquisitions. As more buyers recognize that boring businesses plus AI equals asymmetric returns, multiples on those deals move up. The $600,000 agency that sold at 3 times earnings in 2023 is a different conversation at 4 or 5 times earnings in 2026. The window doesn't close, it just gets more expensive to climb through. What makes this worse is how high achievers tend to respond when they sense a window closing. The research is consistent. Exposure to narratives about falling behind triggers one of 2 failure modes. The first is paralysis. You gather more information, run more analysis, wait for more certainty that never comes. The second is overcorrection. You make a large speculative move driven by urgency rather than fit, which destroys the compounding you were trying to build in the first place. Both responses feel rational in the moment. Neither one compounds. The move that actually works is calibration. Match the play to what you already have, then execute the smallest version of it that generates real data. If you have capital, spend the next 30 days researching SBA-eligible acquisitions in a sector you already understand. You don't need to close a deal this month. You need to understand deal structure, what a clean business looks like, and where AI creates the most immediate lift. That research has a return on its own. If you have a skill set, run one paid AI audit for a business inside your existing network this month. Charge for it. Treat everything you learn as data about what's repeatable. One engagement tells you more than 6 months of planning. If you have domain expertise, write down the single process you execute better than most people in your field. Map every decision point. Don't build anything yet, just make the tacit knowledge explicit, because you can't systematize what you haven't documented. The cost of waiting isn't staying flat. It's falling behind a curve that compounds against you the longer you stay on the wrong side of it. Conclusion: that's the whole game. Stop selling time, start owning assets that AI makes more productive. 3 plays are running right now: acquire and automate, productize service work, license your expertise as IP. Pick the one that fits what you already have and start the smallest version this week. Subscribe for the tactical breakdowns on each play, and drop a comment telling me which one fits your situation.